Hey guys, welcome back to Revanchist Wealth. It's been a couple of days. So just a quick DeFi portfolio update. As you can see, we have some revenue to harvest around 540 bucks. So I'm just going to harvest that, pay down some of this debt, get down to the 135K level. Um, Really 136K, but close enough. And we're still holding on to our PXE. I haven't closed that out yet. Um, ETH has been going from around reached around 47.80. I think that was the local top before we came back down to around 4,600, and then now we're at like 4,500, or sorry, 4,400, and have dipped down into the 4,300s a bit. I'm not really too worried about that. I think there's a lot of buy pressure still from these treasury companies, and that's really what's been pushing the price up. And I think they still have a lot of their stack to unload, so I expect this price to, creep back up in the next week or two. Um, Now, one thing that I'll say is that, I'll close out this position um, at a price where you'll question, I'll do it around like 4,800 again or like 5,000. Um, I just think that represents a psychological resistance point, and it's going to, I think, bounce around there for a bit. So that's where I want to kind of locally, reduce my risk, right? So I've been holding Ether for a long time since it was, under $100, a couple of $100, and then, because of that length of time I've been holding, I want to be very conservative. And now that it's reached like 4,800 or we'll reach that again, or 5K, I want to grab some profits. I want to take cash off the table or take money off the table and put it aside. And my exit plan I'll talk about a little bit, which is again, I think for new people who just came in or buying Ether, it, you should buy Ether slowly, regularly, and don't let me exiting my position scare you out of that. You should still stack long term. But for me, my context is a bit different because, I've had my money in this for 5 years, 6 years, and it's for me, it's a good idea to de-risk a little bit with the size of my portfolio. Of course, this wallet's not my only wallet, right? So I have a lot of other ETH, but I want to make sure that as the price ticks up, I'm taking some off the table. And like I said, the strategy for my exit is going to be actually an LP pool. So when, let's say, ETH reaches like $5,000, right? At that point, I'll take like 10 or 20% of my Ether, which will be like, around 200K, 250K, and I'm going to put that in like an aerodrome position or like a Uniswap V3 position on an Arbitrum, which is another L2, um, like bases, or on the ETH L1. And I'm going to set it to a very wide range. And if you've been following around or following me a little bit on my aerodrome position, you'll see the ratio kind of uh, changes slower when your range is wider. So when I set this $1,000 range, right, its ratio changes much lower than when my range on the liquidity pool was like 500 bucks, right? So if I set when ETH goes to 5K or reaches 5K and I take some off the table, I'm going to set a range of like $1,000 ETH to like $7,000 ETH. And that's going to be a really wide range. It's not going to give me much in terms of percentage APR, but it'll still give me, I think, like 10, 15%. And on a large chunk of cash, like 250K, that's not too bad, right? That's like a lower end salary for most people, like 25K. So as this goes up, keep in mind I will be de-risking my portfolio. Your portfolio is different, and you should have different commitments and rules, but the discipline to follow some set of rules. And you might not. is it might not be a good idea for you to take some off the table because if ETH goes to like 7K the day after, I'm not going to care, but you might blame me and say, hey, I followed you and you took some you sold at this price point uh, and so did I, and then I missed out on this gain. So don't let that happen to you. Commit to your stuff beforehand. The psychology of trading is pretty tough to deal with, even for the most strong-minded or strong-willed people. So I always try to commit to my things beforehand and follow it religiously, no matter what the price is doing or like the articles and blabber and noise around these assets is saying. Um, and that has served me pretty well for my entire crypto career, which is like over a decade now. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest this, and then I'll see you on the other side. Um, yeah. Okay, we're at Aave. You can see the 540 bucks that I harvested, and I'm going to repay it right now. We'll get down to a nice 135,800 that we owe. So we'll repay right here. All right, we're all done. There we go. Now we sit and wait, like always. All right, thank you guys.